have new details tonight. We now know the names of the woman and baby killed by a 22-year-old man in an East Columbus murder-suicide. The Franklin County Coroner's Office confirms they are 20-year-old Isabel Addington and 4-month-old Imani Robinson. Police say 22-year-old Jaden Robinson shot and killed them before turning the gun on himself. Officers say they went to the home on East 12th Avenue late Tuesday night and gave several commands before going inside. That's when they found all 3 people dead. This is the 5th shooting police are investigating as a murder-suicide just in the past 3 weeks.
Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to East Columbus, Ohio, where a tragic double murder-suicide had occurred. A man killed his fiancée and baby daughter while on FaceTime call with a friend. On Tuesday, September 10th, Robinson was communicating with a friend via FaceTime. The friend called police saying Robinson had been texting him about an argument he was having with his fiancée. "I was talking on the phone with him and I heard gunshots go off," the friend stated. "The phone fell and I'm not sure what was going on over there. I alerted the authorities right after hearing the gunshots." The dispatcher asked his friend if he thought Robinson had shot himself, and he said he might have. The friend of Robinson was shaken up, repeatedly saying, "Oh my God," to himself between questions from the dispatcher. "I don't know why he even called me to do that," the friend said. "I just don't understand." Robinson was living with a friend of the family at that time, who also called the police after hearing the gunshots fired from upstairs in the residence. He said he thought Robinson had shot Addington and that a 4-month-old child was in the room with them. Both the friend and the resident said they did not know that Robinson had a gun. Officers were called, and upon investigating, the police confirmed that a man who lived at a home on the 2900 block of East 12th Avenue shot his partner, their baby, and then himself in a murder-suicide. The man was later identified as 22-year-old Jaden Robinson. The 2 victims were 20-year-old Isabella Addington and their 4-month-old daughter, Imani Robinson. After taking the lives of his partner and daughter, he ended his own life following an amid domestic argument, Columbus police reported. Court documents revealed Robinson had been out on bail since May 2023, while facing 3 weapons charges and 1 count of drug possession from an incident in 2022. Robinson was not supposed to have a weapon at all, according to Franklin County Court of Common Pleas documents, due to an aggravated burglary charge he faced in 2021. His next court appearance is set for September 19 this year. This is the 2nd suspected murder-suicide Columbus police have investigated in just 2 days. The city has seen a recent uptick in domestic violence-related homicides. CPD said so far this year there have been 19 domestic violence-related homicides. Anyone with information regarding this incident is asked to call the Columbus Police Homicide Unit at 614-645-4730 or Central Ohio Crime Stoppers at 614-461-TIPS 8477. Sending my condolences to the family of Isabella Addington and Imani Robinson.
Police believe 21-year-old Jaden Robinson shot them before turning the gun on himself.
A DeKalb County school teacher is behind bars. Marcus Knight is accused of molesting a 14-year-old Fox 5's Christopher King is live in Stone Mountain on that story at the school where the teacher works. With more details, Christopher.
Christine, this is Stone Mountain Middle School. Marcus Knight is a teacher here. Police say the victim's mom found sexually explicit conversations with Knight on her child's cell phone.
That's just crazy to hear.
Brian Walton was disgusted to learn a teacher at his children's middle school was accused of molesting a 14-year-old.
It's very disturbing, very disturbing.
Marcus Knight teaches at Stone Mountain Middle School. The DeKalb County School District says the teen was not a student at this school. Knight lives in Gwinnett County. Police say he connected with the teen online.
They met on a dating app. The suspect and the victim in this case did meet on multiple occasions.
Gwinnett County police say the victim's mother found out.
A mother who happened to be looking through her child's phone discovered some unsettling, very sexual-orientated text message between her child and supposedly an adult male.
Investigators, with the mom's permission, used her child's phone. They pretended to be the victim.
Detectives were able to meet with Mr. Marcus Knight.
Police last Tuesday arrested Knight in Gwinnett County.
He was in possession of multiple high-level dosage of THC vaping cartridges.
Lisa Lai is in the 8th grade. She couldn't believe it when she found out a teacher at her school was accused of doing something so unthinkable.
That's kind of really weird. I feel very, very uncomfortable.
Now, DeKalb County Schools released a statement. They say, quote, they take the allegations, quote, very seriously. The district has placed Knight on leave and banned him from all district properties. Right now, Knight is at the Gwinnett County Jail. He faces several charges, including child molestation. Police say he could face even more charges, and they urge any potential victims to come forward. We're live in Stone Mountain. Christopher King, Fox 5 News.
All right, Christopher, we'll see what comes of this investigation. Thanks.
Those with any information about this case are encouraged to contact detectives at 770-513-5300. Tipsters can remain anonymous at 404-577-8477. These teachers are sick nowadays. The only thing I worried about in school was getting detention or getting paddle. These new millennials are taking it to a whole new level. Please be involved in who your child is communicating with at all times because no one is safe anymore. These predators are roaming and looking for their new victim. Please talk to your children.
This is 7 News at noon.
Off the top this noon, a child tragedy when a 7-year-old with medical needs dies, and police say the people tasked with taking care of him are to blame. Good afternoon. 5 people, including members of the boy's family, are now behind bars.
And they're facing a slew of charges from neglect to fraud. 7's Alex Browning is live in Fort Lauderdale with all the details. Alex.
And Lorena, Ethan, it is just hard to wrap your head around a mother, a grandfather, and a brother allowing this little boy to starve to death for months. In the end, sadly, he would die.
I can tell you I lost sleep more than once.
Even for detectives who have seen so much, the death and details of the last months of Deontay Atwell's life are difficult to process. The 7-year-old weighed just 7 pounds when he was found dead Christmas morning in the family's Fort Lauderdale home.
Yes, sir. Did you just close your laptop?
Here, he is seen in video provided by police. The little boy was born with conditions that left him immobile from the waist down, and he was nonverbal. 9 months after his death, 3 members of his own family and 2 healthcare workers are charged.
These 5 individuals that were arrested on September 10th had a great deal of involvement in Deontay's death.
Accused of starving the boy over 4 long months. On the day he died, a family member called 911.
My nephew, he's on the breathalyzer. He's not responding too well right now. He's like weak. We need an ambulance now.
He had gaping holes from bed sores where his bones were protruding.
His mother, Michelle Doe, charged with premeditated murder. A month after Deontay died, Doe created a GoFundMe asking for money using a photo taken before his weight dropped to 7 pounds.
Aggravated manslaughter of a child.
His grandfather, the owner of a home health care company, a registered nurse, and the boy's 21-year-old brother each appeared in court, all complicit in his death, according to investigators.
While this victim was enduring this prolonged starvation and severe medical neglect, the victim's 9-year-old and 16-year-old brother were in the home sharing a bed and bedroom with the victim in the days and weeks leading up to his death.
A boy let down, detectives say, by those closest to him and those entrusted with his care.
And those caretakers, along with his brother and mother, being held without bond. His grandfather was granted bond, but just a few minutes ago, his mother was in a Broward County courtroom facing a judge. We'll have a lot more on this story coming up at 7 News at 4 o'clock. We're in Fort Lauderdale. Alex Browning, 7 News.
Michelle Doe, 37, was arrested on charges including first-degree murder, aggravated manslaughter of a child, aggravated child abuse, and 2 counts of neglect of a child in connection with the death of her son, Deontay Atwell. Atwell was diagnosed with thoracic spina bifida and hydrocephalus, had a breathing and feeding tube, and required around-the-clock skilled nursing care. Prosecutors said Atwell endured prolonged starvation and was horribly malnourished and neglected, weighing just 7 pounds when he died with bones poking through his skin. Investigators found 264 unopened bottles of Atwell's feeding formula inside the Fort Lauderdale home on Southwest 11th Street. The 7-year-old child was found deceased on Christmas Day, 2 days after his birthday, weighing only 7 pounds. Prosecutors alleged that the boy's own mother, brother, grandfather, a home care business owner, and a nurse are all to blame for the victim's starvation. Atwell may have been suffering months prior to his death. It's unclear at this time if Atwell been deceased for quite some time prior December 25th, prosecutors said. The seriousness of the charges will be against his mother, 37-year-old Michelle Doe, his brother, 21-year-old Tyrek Irvin, his grandfather, 70-year-old James Graham, and 2 home care defendants, 33-year-old nurse Cassandre Laseg, and 47-year-old Samaritan home care provider, Inc. owner Mirland Multimer. The 2 home care defendants, however, are each accused of third-degree felony murder, Medicaid provider fraud, child neglect, and aggravated manslaughter, that latter of which is punishable by up to 3 decades behind bars upon conviction. This is a very disturbing topic to talk about. May Deontay Atwell rest peacefully.
Go like this. Did you eat that cat? Did you eat it? No, why'd you kill it? Get in there. It's ridiculous. Here. It's all right, other kitty, you're safe. Did you guys see all this?
No, we pulled up and she was just laying there with me.
Did you see her eating it? She was eating it?
Yeah. She said, but it's blood on her shoes. She said she stumped it out.
Yeah.
33, go ahead.
Well, you don't kill a cat and go to the hospital, you go to jail.
So the victims lived in the house together and their vehicle is missing. So we need to know who has their vehicle and what happened to their vehicle. So to break it down in layman's terms, we need their vehicle.
I'm so numb. I still can't believe that happened. We're very angry. We're still trying to wrap our minds about how can we, who would, who did, why?
We're asking the public, the media, please help us. We just want a closure as to why they didn't deserve this.
7 News at noon.
Off the top this noon, horror at home. An elderly couple found shot to death. Good afternoon. A family heartbroken. All they want is answers as to who did it and why.
At New this noon, we are hearing the calls for help. 7's Alex Browning is live in Fort Lauderdale with more. Alex.
Olivia, Ethan, you mentioned this family just heartbroken, devastated. They can't wrap their head around why someone would kill a couple in their 80s.
If I got a chance to see him today, but he looked like they just sleeping. But it's the worst thing that a person could ever imagine.
Tanya Mitchell had to see her parents, Major and Claudette Melvin, in a funeral home. She raced to Fort Lauderdale Friday from her home in North Carolina.
You need to get here. That I think your parents has been murdered. I think I lost it.
The couple in their 80s raised their children here in this Fort Lauderdale home on Southwest 30th Terrace, and it's here where police say they died, telling family someone walked in through the front door confronting Major.
They shot him point blank with a 9mm. She was shot as well in the chest, and she fell back.
Tanya says cash in the home was not touched. The killer took off in the couple's red Ford Fusion, pictured here in front of their house. She goes on to say she has no idea why someone would kill Major, a retired county worker, and Claudette, a retired housekeeper.
I just cannot understand. If they came in to rob them, I don't understand why they went in and started shooting. You know, I've known them for 24 years that we've been here.
What were you looking for? You took nothing, but you killed them. Who does that? I want that person to know you have parents as well. And when they do find you, which I hope they do before we do, you're going to burn in hell.
And now Fort Lauderdale police this noon are hoping the public can help track down that Ford Fusion. Take another look at your screen. You see it there with that Florida tag. If you have any information that could help detectives, maybe you've seen it around town, call Crime Stoppers 954-491-TIPS. You can remain anonymous. We're in Fort Lauderdale. Alex Browning, 7 News.
We begin with a chilling twist in the murder of an elderly couple.
Their granddaughter has now been arrested, and today she faced a judge twice. Local 10's Laren Livingston is live in Fort Lauderdale with the latest. Laren.
Authorities wasted no time either. They presented this case to the grand jury on Wednesday. This woman was in handcuffs yesterday, and again, she was back in court this morning and this afternoon. We were there last night as 34-year-old Jaleesa Hill was escorted into the Broward County Jail. This morning,
you're charged with 2 counts of murder in the first degree.
She appeared before a Broward County judge accused of killing her grandparents.
I don't have no sympathy. Because at the end of the day, that was my mama that I lost. And my dad.
Dennis Parker's parents, Major and Claudette Melvin, were shot to death in their Fort Lauderdale home back in March. Their red Ford Fusion had also been stolen. Maurice Newsom, Hill's ex-boyfriend, was later arrested for stealing and selling the couple's car. Police say Hill worked with her ex to kill her grandparents. Her arrest report details the conflicting stories she gave detectives about who would inherit her grandparents' home, about her interactions with her ex. It notes how she called the car insurance company to file a claim on the stolen car on behalf of her grandparents days after their death, never telling the insurance rep, though, that her grandparents were dead. Police say she did, however, ask who the insurance check would be made out to. Police also say that she Zelled her ex $1,000 weeks after the murder.
The charges are 2 counts of murder in the first degree.
Hill was back in court this afternoon, reappearing with a newly hired attorney. She was held without bond In Dennis Parker's words to his niece,
And if you had anything to do with it, like I said, I want you to rot in hell.
very candid, very emotional, and that victim's son, he says anybody else who may be connected to this, be they family members or not, he says hopefully everybody involved will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. We're live here in Fort Lauderdale. Larry Livingston, Local 10 News.
7 News at noon.
Off the top this noon, horror at home. An elderly couple found shot to death. Good afternoon. A family heartbroken. All they want is answers as to who did it and why.
And new this noon, we are hearing the calls for help. 7's Alex Browning is live in Fort Lauderdale with more. Alex.
Olivia, Ethan, you mentioned this family just heartbroken, devastated. They can't wrap their head around why someone would kill a couple in their 80s.
I got a chance to see him today, but he looked like they just sleeping. But it's the worst thing that a person could ever imagine.
Tanya Mitchell had to see her parents, Major and Claudette Melvin, in a funeral home. She raced to Fort Lauderdale Friday from her home in North Carolina.
You need to get here. That I think your parents has been murdered. I think I lost it.
The couple in their 80s raised their children here in this Fort Lauderdale home on Southwest 30th Terrace, and it's here where police say they died, telling family someone walked in through the front door confronting Major.
They shot him point blank with a 9mm. She was shot as well in the chest, and she fell back.
Tanya says cash in the home was not touched. The killer took off in the couple's red Ford Fusion, pictured here in front of their house. She goes on to say she has no idea why someone would kill Major, a retired county worker, and Claudette, a retired housekeeper.
I just cannot understand. If they came in to rob them, I don't understand why they went in and started shooting. You know, I've known them for 24 years that we've been here.
What were you looking for? You took nothing, but you killed them. Who does that? I want that person to know you have parents as well. And when they do find you, which I hope they do before we do, you're going to burn in hell.
And now Fort Lauderdale police this noon are hoping the public can help track down that Ford Fusion. Take another look at your screen. You see it there with that Florida tag. If you have any information that could help detectives, maybe you've seen it around town, call Crime Stoppers 954-491-TIPS. You can remain anonymous. We're in Fort Lauderdale. Alex Browning, 7 News.
On March 22nd, Claudette, 85, and Major, 89, were gunned down in their home on the 600 block of Southwest 30th Terrace. They had lived in the Melrose Manors neighborhood for over 50 years and married for nearly 6 decades, raising 11 children and 28 grandchildren. After murdering the couple, Fort Lauderdale police say Newsom stole and later sold their red Ford Fusion weeks later to a tow truck driver for $200. He was initially arrested in May for the theft and is still facing charges of grand theft auto and dealing in stolen property. He pleaded not guilty to those charges and was released on bond, the Associated Press reported. Authorities have not said what led them to charging Newsom and Hill, only saying that it is believed Hill worked in conjunction with Maurice Newsom to murder her grandparents. The release states, Hill was living with her grandparents in the same home where they were found dead. CBS News Miami spoke with Hill's uncle, who said this has ripped their family apart. On Thursday, September 12, Jaleesa Hill, 38, one of the Melvins' 28 grandchildren, was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Police said, weeks after Morris Newsom, 30, was charged with the same offenses as well as 1 count of robbery with a firearm. Jaleesa Hill will remain in jail after police said she planned and orchestrated the murder of her grandparents. Investigators confronting her with paperwork that was uncovered in her room, including a list of property expenses such as pest control and renovations, a warrant revealed. She told detectives that she didn't own a property, but confirmed that the expenses were for her grandparents' house as she was going to be the one in line to receive the home. Not sure if that's the reason Hill killed her grandparents. It is not immediately clear if either Hill or Newsom has retained an attorney or enter a plea. This case is ongoing. A GoFundMe started by another one of Major and Claudette's grandchildren has raised over $3,000. Rest in peace, Major and Claudette Melvin. On September 5, 2015, Cameron and Christopher Irvin served their parents Xanax-laced cocktails and waited. When their parents finally went to bed, the brothers lit candles in the living room, turned the gas on, and sat outside. They hoped their home would blow up. It did not. They'd planned for their parents to go quietly, cleanly, but that was no longer an option. They'd have to go back inside and deal with it another way. They tried to strangle their parents that night, and they beat them with the butt of a shotgun. They stabbed their father over and over and over again in the kitchen, in the garage. Their mother, though, managed to call 911, and when the police arrived at the scene, Zachary was hospitalized in critical condition. Their sons were immediately arrested within the home and charged with 2 counts of felony aggravated assault and 2 felony counts of first-degree arson after police noticed that the home's gas line had been tampered with, according to WSB-TV at the time. Cameron and Christopher Irvin, 17 and 22 years old, respectively, at the time of the attack, entered guilty pleas Monday in Gwinnett County Superior Court. But what led to the attack? What sparked the rage of 2 brothers raised in a seemingly comfortable middle-class suburban Snellville household? How did things get so bad? Was it years of simmering familial tension, drug and alcohol abuse, and possible mental health battles? Christopher, 22, blamed the incident on his addiction to drugs and alcohol. There's still no clear motive to this day of exactly why the brothers were trying to kill their parents. There's nothing that I know of that could cause such an act other than the fact that there was something. It had to be something seriously wrong, the father said. These are not the sons we raised, the mother said. My sons would not do something like this. While the brothers weren't drug tested after their arrest and, at least publicly, have never explicitly said they were drunk or high at the time of the attack, Gwinnett County Superior Court Judge Ronnie Batchelor sentenced them to 20 years in prison with 30 years of probation after that. The Gwinnett brothers are still serving their 20-year sentence in a Georgia state prison.
Gwinnett County 911, what's the location of the emergency? Yes, please send someone to the house. My children are trying to kill me. Okay, what do you mean that your children are trying to kill you? They've attacked me and my husband. They drugged us with Xanax. They've attacked us, and they're trying to kill us. Okay, so my husband has distracted them, and I was just able to get to the phone. Please hurry. Just down the phone with me, okay? Please. And you said your husband has restrained them? He's distracted them so I could get to the phone. Please hurry, please. Just down the phone with me. How old are the children? They're 22 and 17. Please. Okay, how did they try and kill you, ma'am? They're trying to strangle us and shoot us, and they put Xanax in our food, and they thought we were asleep. They tried to attack us. They beat me up. They beat him up. They're trying to kill us. Please. Okay, your children are 17 and 22? Yes. Okay. Please hurry. Please hurry. Okay. And where are they at now, ma'am? They're in the house. They're trying to attack my husband. He's made it to the garage and he's just trying to blow the horn to distract, get our neighbor's attention. And I was able to get up to the phone and call you. But please hurry, please. All right, ma'am. Now, what's your name? Yvonne Irvin. Yvonne Irvin? Yes. Okay. Yes. Please. Is he still blowing on the horn? He's in the garage, just trying to. He was able to get away from him. He's just trying to do what he can to get attention to the house.
Relax. Breathe.
Cameron Irvin is nearly hysterical as he's processed into the Gwinnett County Jail shortly after his arrest for trying to kill his parents. In a separate room, 19-year-old Christopher confesses to the crime.
Never in my wildest dreams would I have pictured myself doing that. And that sorry doesn't begin to describe it, but
1-8 County 911, what's the location of the emergency? Yes, please send someone to not house my children. They're trying to kill me. Okay, what do you mean that your children are trying to kill you? They've attacked me and my husband. They drugged us with Xanax. They've attacked us. They're trying to kill us. Okay, so my husband has distracted them, and I was just able to get to the phone. Please hurry. Okay. Please. You said your husband has restrained them? He's been distracted them. So how could you get to the phone? Please hurry, please. They're 22 and 17. Please. Okay, how did they try and kill you, ma'am? They're trying to strangle us and shoot us, and they put Xanax in our food, and they thought we were asleep. They tried to attack us. They beat me up. They beat him up. They trying to kill us. Please.
Both describe a distant relationship with their parents and pressure to excel in sports, college, and the military.
Total about 14. Not that I really didn't pay me any attention. I wish we could have been a more cohesive family unit. That doesn't justify what we did. Explains a lot, though. By any means.
In several hours of interrogation tapes, the teens are cooperative, admitting they tried to set their parents' house on fire, then tried to stab, suffocate, and beat them to death when the explosion plan failed. Brothers who describe each other as best friends are reunited. 17-year-old Cameron still sobbing uncontrollably.
You had bad to say. That's alright, though. I love you, man. You fucked up, bud.
Two brothers were sentenced to 20 years in prison for trying to kill their parents last year.
First of all, I'd like to apologize.
23-year-old Christopher Irvin and his 19-year-old brother Cameron pled guilty to 13 charges in connection with the crime at their Atlanta area home in September 2015, in which they allegedly drugged their parents Yvonne and Zachary, beat them, stabbed them, and tried to set the house on fire. Despite the horror they went through, these parents have forgiven their boys and asked the judge for mercy.
I don't see myself as a victim. I'm a father first. Knew that there was something terribly that went wrong during this span. And I had no other choice but to forgive them.
The prosecution asked for 50 years, but the judge sentenced them to 20 years with 30 years of probation, and they will be eligible for parole after 10 years.
I'm extremely regretful.
These decisions are never easy for the court.
The brothers apologized, expressed remorse, and pled guilty to their crimes. They also expressed their love for their parents, who they will only be able to see when they come to visit them in prison.
First at 12:30, we're seeing on top of new developments in the 2017 murder case against Lamora Williams. She's the Fulton County mother charged with killing her 2 sons by putting them inside of an oven. Just in the last 2 hours, we were in court for Williams' final plea hearing. We know she was in the building somewhere in a back room, but she chose not to appear directly in front of the judge. So you're looking at video from a previous court hearing. During the hearing, the state announced that it will specifically select a future trial date. No word yet on when that could be. Arrest warrants from 2017 claim Williams placed her 1- and 2-year-old sons inside of a hot oven. She's been indicted for their murders. Her trial has been delayed several times because of the pandemic, as well as on hold due to mental health evaluations.
Ma'am, I have a question. If this is a serious matter, I just left my cousin in the house with my kids. She just left my kids in the house when I came back from work, and my kids, 2 of my kids are dead. What do I gotta do? They dead. She left them dead in the house by themselves.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Where are you now?
I'm in my house. She left my door open. My baby boy, my oldest baby boy, is the only one that's here, only one that's alive. She left them in the house by themselves. She left them in here, and they knocked the stove on. Can you listen? When I came in, the stove was laying on my son. I don't know what to do. I just came home to work from this, and she just left my baby dead.
Okay, ma'am, I'm gonna get EMS and I'm gonna get police and fire at the location. Can you tell me where you're located?
Ma'am, I can't even talk. This is so serious. I'm so scared.
Okay, ma'am. I understand that you're scared. I completely understand, but I need to get some help out there to you now. Can you tell me where you're located?
I understand that, but can you please help me? Like, can you please tell me, like, I don't want to get locked up because this is not my fault. I had just came home from work.
Yes, ma'am.
I just came home from work.
Okay. Ma'am, the first thing that I need to do is get some help out there to you. I understand that you're upset and you're scared.
They in here dead. Like, she left my baby dead.
Okay.
And I don't have no way to reach her.
If you're not sure, if you were at work, ma'am, listen to me. If you were at work while this happened, then the responsibility is going to fall on your sister. That's who you left them with. Okay?
Yes,
Hold
please.
on one moment. Yes, ma'am. Stay on the line with me, though. Hold on one moment for me.
Okay.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
My cousin was babysitting my kids and left my kids dead in my house. Ain't no telling how long they've been in this house.
All right, wait. So is your son, is he obviously dead? Is he breathing at all? Can you tell me
He's dead. Both of my children are dead. Please hurry up, please.
All right, ma'am. I'm en route, okay? You're en route.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
Ma'am, I have a question.
October 2017, Williams called 911 at around 11 p.m. and told an operator that she had come home to find 2 of her sons dead. Arriving at the scene, officers found the bodies of 1-year-old Jacarter Penn and 2-year-old Kayonte Penn. Both toddlers had burn marks on their bodies, authorities said. Williams told police that she left her 3 children from noon until 11:30 p.m. Friday with a caregiver and came back to find the children dead and the caregiver gone. When I came in, the stove was laying on my youngest son's head, and my other son was laid out on the floor with his brains out. I don't know what to do. I just came home from work, Williams was heard saying in the 911 call. At the time Williams was talking to 911, the boy's father, Jamil Penn, was calling 911 from his workplace. He told a dispatcher Williams had just video chatted with him, showing him the dead bodies of his sons. Williams first telling the dispatcher that her cousin was babysitting and left the children alone, but then asked the operator to assure her she will not be blamed for their deaths. Can you please help me? Can you please tell me, I don't want to get locked up because this is not my fault? I had just come home from work, Williams said, a Georgia mom who allegedly murdered her young sons, and then showed the children's father the scene on a video call, killed the boys by placing them in an oven and turning it on, according to an arrest warrant obtained by multiple outlets. She video called me and showed me this, and I seen it, Penn tells the operators. I think they are really dead. Brenda Williams, the mother of Lamora, said her daughter has a long history of mental illness. She believes Lamora snapped after breaking up with Penn. Lamora Williams has remained in custody at the Fulton County Jail since her arrest. She is facing 2 charges of murder as well as charges of child cruelty, lying to police, and concealing a death. Williams, 24, is currently being held in the Fulton County Jail after waiving her first appearance. She is reportedly being held without bond, and no court date has been set, multiple reports say. The children's father created a GoFundMe page and hopes other people learn from his tragic experience. I want everyone to use my story as a helping hand, he wrote. I lost my 2 young boys to violence, and I want to be a difference maker in someone else's life and to prevent a child from being hurt. Rest in peace, Jakarta and Kayante Penn.